Hi, I'm Logan Pullman, and this is my son Simon, also known as Sparky, and we are Nomis Labs, where we invent interesting things. So our demo is a little bit different than everybody else. Theirs is, for the most part, useful things. Ours is just going to be cool and interesting. So what we're going to talk about today is the 1955 Bolex 8mm movie camera. Anybody here born before 1955? Raise your hands. All right. So the Bolex was like the iPhone of its age. And Nomis Labs, we've invented a number of different things, including the slapkin. So if you're a kid and you like to wipe your face on your sleeve, why not just put a slapkin over it? Basically a napkin that goes over your sleeve. Right? The guitars, you can play guitar from behind, technically. You can use your thumb on the back of the neck, an LED bike helmet, and a couple of other things. But we're going to get into this. Why would you do this? Anybody watch Mad Men? This is why I did it. So he was filming with this camera, and I went, hey, that's cool. We should make one of those digital. So we did. Why? Well, because this technology is really cool. I used to be a photographer in an earlier life, and while the iPhone is nice, it's actually kind of boring. This is cool, and it was a challenge. So we built this thing, and here's one of the ones we built. On the left is the original. On the right is the digital version. It's got a beautiful French zoom lens on it. And it does 8 megapixel stills and high def video. So here's the specs on it. You can kind of read through it. Color, black and white, lots of stuff, HDMI output, and it runs Linux. All right. And here's Sparky working on our stuff. So I'm going to ask Sparky to talk a little bit about what he did.
Oh boy. So what I did for this project, these things, by the way, are a real pain to take apart. I sometimes get paid to take apart these cameras, and then Dad makes them into them. So what we did is Dad has become an expert 3D print designer. So he printed the little implant inside there. So we got the cameras, then Dad programs the Raspberry Pi, and then the Pi goes in the case, and then the case goes in the Bolex. So what it is, yeah, it's a digital camera inside this old,
Yet very
Dark
cool.
Ages camera.
He's 12, so 1955, yeah.
Yeah, basically the Dark Ages, 1955.
So ask yourself, okay, what could this thing really do? Well, this is an actual test chart from the camera. And you can see the resolution is amazing. So some of these lenses, even though they come from 1955 or 60, are really great. And you're saying, but please just demo this thing. So we're going to demo it. So Sparky, why don't you go up on stage? We're going to put a follow spot on him. We're hopefully going to switch over to the camera. And if all goes well, this thing will work. We would use you folks, but the problem is that the world out there is a little bit too dark. How do we switch over? Keith's coming down to help. So what I have up here is, it's got 3 lenses on it. It's got a 5.5 millimeter, a 12 millimeter, and a 36 millimeter. And you're saying, wow, that doesn't sound very cool at all. I think I'm plugged into you. Yep. But the equivalent is about a 25 millimeter lens on a 35 millimeter camera, normal lens, and about 150 millimeters telephoto lens, all in this cool little case. So we actually sell these things. You say, who would buy one of these? Well, I'll tell you who bought one of these. A director in Hollywood. He was the associate director on the 2009 Halloween reboot, I believe. So a relatively famous guy who's got some nice credentials. And we sold them to other people. And part of the reason for doing this is it's basically recycling and upcycling. And the other is it just looks cool. And if you say, well, why would I need that? Well, then I can't help you, okay? You keep your iPhone, your Android phone, okay? So hopefully we can get our technical thing here. I think we're plugged in there. You know what, Keith? I did it again. All right, so Keith's on it, I'm not. We did the same thing earlier where I turned the camera on and didn't actually plug it in. So it's a little test. You know, I used to be the AV club captain in junior high school, so you'd think I'd be on this stuff. And, all right. And just so you know it's real, the camera blew up on me last night at about 10 o'clock at night, and I had to rebuild it this morning, and we finished the build up about 10 minutes before we came over here, so. Freaking out, well, yeah, okay. I was sort of like, oh, come on. You know? How could this blow up at this point in time? But the demo gods are always, you know, always trying to do something. So I'm going to point out at the audience for a little bit and see if we, do we need to unplug my laptop maybe? Nope, okay. All right. But if this doesn't work, I actually have recordings of it, so. No. Well, luckily enough, this is a fixed focus lens wide angle that I'm using right now. So, tell you what was that? I need a faster modem. Yeah, oh, good. Another good point. Lens cap on. Let's check and see.
Except the fact that there is no lens cap.
Right. All right, so. All right, he's got his dad's wit. So, in lieu of it actually working live, how about if I show you some actual recorded footage that we shot just recently. All right, my laptop is switching back here, and so I am going to go to what is likely something that was shot today. Let's see. No, that's not going to work. Bigger's always better, right? No, giving you a mic at this stage would be a dangerous thing. All right, so here's some footage that we shot about 2 days ago. This is shot with the telephoto lens. This is over by McPhail.
That was shot last Saturday.
And if you can pull the follow spot off. Nope, I got Keith down here. So this is effectively about a 150 millimeter lens. And it's shooting, I believe, at about 30 frames a second. Once again, this is a lens that is basically a 1955 lens. So let me give you a different clip here. This is the black and white mode. Once again, this is zoomed in. This is my test sensor. You'll see some dust on it. So one of the biggest challenges we have is these sensors are small, and they basically get dusty in the process of doing the prototypes. But the final production pieces don't have that as a problem. And hopefully you can see that the quality on this is incredibly good. Now, granted, I'm a little biased, but when we started doing the experiments on it, I was completely flabbergasted by what we were able to get. And let me try and make this big enough that you can see. This is probably the normal lens. So basically, we've taken a piece of technology from 1955. We've kept the best parts. We've gotten rid of the mechanical stuff. And we've built this product line. Now, let's say that you're really not, you're not a Bolex person, right? You've got different sensibilities. Well, you know, we can take care of you. So let's say you're a Kodak person. We have a Kodak twin lens from 1954. Let's say you're actually a conspiracy theorist. Any of those? How about this one? This is the Bell & Howell that was used to shoot the Zapruder film. Not the actual camera, but the same model. And let's say you're more into fun stuff. We have the Delvita version. So, That's Nomis Labs. You can find us on Facebook by looking for Nomis, N-O-M-I-S, which is
Simon backwards.
Simon backwards. Okay? Thank you very much.